Welcome into I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. Week 5 preview in college football, and we're getting into the meat of the season here as we start conference play across the board for a lot of these different schools, Tyson. A lot of games that are catching our interest. Now, we're only previewing 4 of the biggest games, but I mean, in this early start, we'll kind of run through some things real quick. I mean, USC, Illinois, top 25 matchup. USC, we just highlighted. Illinois just got blitzed by Indiana. I mean, what's your general sense on that one?
On the Indiana-Illinois game?
Yeah, USC, Illinois.
Oh, no. That is a game that I think I'm more interested in right now than I was a week ago. Is that backwards?
Well, I think USC actually looks like good, and we'll see if Illinois can bounce back. Because if not, they're done, obviously. But, Can they beat Illinois? Can Illinois bounce back? I'm with you there. I'm intrigued by that game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be fun, but it didn't make the cut.
No, it didn't. It did not make the cut. That's one of the only top 25 matchups that we're ignoring here. Let's get into what we're going to be diving into, Tyson, because we got 4 big ones that we want to highlight. And so without further ado, it is our playbook preview.
Playbook preview.
We're starting here. Oregon coming into Happy Valley for a whiteout atmosphere to take on my Penn State Nittany Lions. Game day is going to be here. They're actually going in September, so they might enjoy themselves for the weather. Mm-hmm. They're here, late October, and they're freezing their ass off. But, Oregon coming in to Penn State. Oregon looks like a juggernaut. That's what everybody's saying, right? The offense looks great. Penn State looks horrible. Drew Aller stinks. This offense is bad once again. And this is a proving ground opportunity to see if Penn State can finally win a big game. That's what he says. That's what everyone wants. Could James Franklin win the big one? Could Drew Aller win the big one? I'm going to throw this to you. What are you circling in this matchup?
Well, I think Drew Aller and James Franklin are a pretty big circle. So I think you look at that. Dante Moore under control for this Oregon team. They look awesome. Dude, it's the first time they're going to Penn State since 1964. And I've been doing this with you for 10 years, 11 years, defending the Pac-12 with all my might against Brad. It's whiteout. At Penn State, is this an atmosphere Oregon's going to be able to handle? Is this different than what you get playing at Husky Stadium?
This is different. This is – I know you're an SEC guy. You're trying to defend the Pac-12. Outside of LSU at night, outside of some of the big SEC games, Auburn, Alabama, things like that, this is the toughest place to play in the country, and especially for a whiteout, especially a whiteout at night. That's the biggest thing too. You're playing – some slap team. It was Washington last year at noon. It was it's the whiteout because you kind of had to. No. This is a real whiteout. And this place is going to be loud. I mean, 2019, Michigan has to call a timeout on the first freaking possession because they can't hear themselves. Oregon's not going to have any experience, and they're coming in. We're excited for this. We're until you are in, until you face it, you don't know what's going to hit you. Now, that doesn't mean Oregon can't win this football game, but I think there is an X factor here that Beaver Stadium is going to provide that I think it's going to take an adjustment period for Oregon to get used to.
All right. Have we seen the real Penn State team in 2025 yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do they show up this weekend?
I think we do get the real Penn State team this weekend.
And what does that team look like, Brad? Because against FIU, against Villanova, you saw little tiny pieces of it, but a sustained game from this offense requires what?
You got to be able to move the ball more efficiently through the air. That's the biggest thing because, Nick Singleton has not been great this season when it comes to breaking the big run. You change running back coach and it's we're trying some different stuff here. Okay. Is he thinking too much? Whatever. Katron Allen looks awesome. He finally was healthy this offseason. So I think that's a major positive for Penn State, but the passing attack is still questionable. You have better receivers. And I think it actually has looked better on the outside with Hudson, Pena, and Devontae Ross, but Drew Aller has not been accurate. He's battling confidence issues for some reason. I'm dude, you're playing Villanova and FIU. You should be tearing these teams up. So I don't know what is happening.
There's your reason. That's the reason for the conference. He's been misfiring too much and been defending this guy for a long time. And I think you got to have one that you put your stamp on it. If you're a Penn State fan, you really hope that's this weekend with Drew Aller. This is one you can't really let slip through your fingertips, I think, if you're Penn State. Now, if they lose this game, are they not going to be a college football playoff team? I'm not saying that. But you're at home, a whiteout against a team that let's just call a spade a spade. Like, this Oregon team looks like maybe the best in the country through the first 4 weeks. Like, the deep, talented, scoring 1 billion points, beating everybody. Like, defense looks awesome. You get them at home at night in whiteout. Like, this is what you've been asking for if you're Penn State, because it's fun to have whiteout for big noon kickoff against Ohio State, but it's a different thing to have it here, and you're welcoming a team. Like, we haven't really got to get you here since you've been in this conference. We know you won it a year ago. We're trying to get there now. And so I think this is a huge one for Penn State. I'm just saying that I don't know if Dan Lanning's bunch is going to be intimidated too much by all this. I think this defense might kind of thrive in this atmosphere. This Oregon defensive line has been disgusting so far this season. They haven't played Penn State yet, and like it's a different caliber of competition than Montana State. But this Penn State offensive line hasn't necessarily blown me away to the point where I'm like, they're going to be able to handle all the stuff this Oregon defense is going to do, because I do think that Penn State's defense is going to be able to limit a lot of what Oregon wants to do in the explosives. And so I think it comes down to the other side of the ball. And I think in the trenches, I'm a little bit more confident in this Oregon defensive line.
It is interesting because neither of these teams have played anybody. Like, the names that Oregon's played has looked better than who Penn State has played. Montana State coming off an FCS championship appearance, Oklahoma State, P4 school, although, they just canned Gundy. Meanwhile, Penn State has kind of cakewalked through this or sleptwalked through it, and Oregon's coming off their rivalry game. So everything it looks good for Oregon on paper, but none of these teams have played anybody, right? Like, we can't sit there and definitively say, oh, well, they look really good against a higher competition, so we know what we're going to get. Like, yes, Oregon's offense looks great. The defense that they played stinks. Penn State's defense has looked awesome, again, against bad competition. In the flip side, Oregon's defense has looked really good too, but against who? So this is the first time we're going to see a test here. So we're basing this off the eye test, and my eye test tells me that Oregon's defense does have flaws in the trenches. Oregon State was actually having success running on them, and if that's what you have, like Penn State, you can dominate on the ground, like we saw in the Big Ten championship game last year too. Remember, this is the same offensive line go against a little bit worse defensive line based on what Derek Harmon going to. I think that's a major advantage, Penn State. And then the weapons are better for Drew Aller. It's just, can he find them? That's the biggest thing here. To your point, the Penn State hasn't been tested on defense at all. We have no clue what that secondary is going to look like. Like, this is the first time that really that secondary is going to get tested. It's like
Oregon doesn't have a one.
DeCorian Moore is awesome and amazing. He's also 18-year-old true freshman.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know if they have like a true one. I'm going to walk into this building and take over. And look, they don't grow on trees, but we've seen guys do it. Jamar Chase did it. Jeremiah Smith did it. But like, that's Jamar Chase and Jeremiah Smith. Is he one of these guys? Let's just chill out for a second. But that's, I think, an advantage you can draw if you're Penn State, is like, they're going to have to spread it around a little bit more. And this is going to be the first time this guy's ever experienced anything like this.
For sure. And I think same with Dante Moore. Everybody's loving him right now. Tyson, why did he get run out of town at UCLA? Because he kept making mistakes. He couldn't handle
everybody
the big moment. That's true too. I think Will Stein, the offensive coordinator for Oregon, this is where you make your money. And it was great last year in the Dome against the Tom Allen defense. You had guys wide open, but you had Dylan Gabriel, who's been in college for 6 years. You had a bunch of NFL dudes, not saying that this team doesn't, but like a bunch of guys who are ready to go to the NFL and make an impact in the wide receiver room, things like that. Can you do it on the road, in the wideout, with this quarterback, with these young weapons, because Evan Stewart's hurt? That's the biggest question mark I have. So we give out picks here. This isn't gambling. This is just our gut feeling, who we think's going to win. I think Penn State's going to win this football game, Tyson. Now, that's the homer in me. And again, I'm normally pretty pessimistic when it comes to Penn State. Like, the past couple of years have been a little bit more optimistic. Normally, I'm just like, they probably won't win this game. I think they're going to quiet the doubters. They get the bye week. They're coming off the bye. I think this is like, hey, we went through our preseason. I'm putting that in air quotes. Let's wake up and let's make a statement here. And I think they do that against Oregon.
I'm doing this for you. I think Dan Lanning's walking into that building and this defense is winning the game. I think Oregon's going to win.
All right. Tyson and I split. Let's move into 17th ranked Alabama, traveling in the face 5th ranked Georgia. And I think this is a different game than we had imagined 2 weeks ago, right? I mean, Alabama was dead. We're talking about buyout things for Kalen DeBoer, and all of a sudden they look good. They're 2-1. This offense is moving the rock. Ty Simpson all of a sudden is the answer again. And Georgia, with like a pedestrian offense, I mean, all of a sudden it explodes against Tennessee, and it's like, whoa, maybe Gunnar Stockton is the guy here. So you got two familiar foes now. Obviously, Saban's not there anymore, but Alabama, Georgia, similar kids that are facing each other, been playing each other since high school and that circuit, all that good stuff. I am super fascinated by which version of Alabama we get in this game. That is the biggest thing I've circled. Are they going to be coming ready to tackle? Is this offense actually going to look good? Or are they going to wither away when they face a real defense?
I know I can't tell you which version we're going to get, but we're going to get one that throws the ball 50 times. Like that's what this team is. I think that makes it a little easier for Kirby Smart and the bunch. The game plan for, I know that, Sanford Stadium is not Happy Valley. It's not whiteout. Dude, they don't lose here. Like they don't lose at home. Kalen DeBoer doesn't win on the road. Look, Alabama, last year and to start this season, everybody stormed the field on them. Why is that, Brad? Because they're losing at somebody else's house, man. Like it's over and over again. And I will say that this offense last year, when everybody was dooming about the Alabama Crimson Tide and the way that they looked under Kalen DeBoer, and then all of a sudden, oh wow, the offense found its footing against Georgia. This is going to be a season that we can turn around. They weren't able to do it, but there is some precedent here. This offense can explode playing a defense like this. I just think like Georgia is much better than these guys, man.
They should be. And on paper, man, this is what's interesting. Alabama's offense is 9th in EPA per pass. Georgia's defense is 97th. Mm-hmm. We saw them get ripped up by Tennessee. And Tennessee's offense is different in just the way that Josh Heupel has things and dials things up and the explosives and all that stuff. I think Alabama can beat these guys with death by 1,000 cuts if everything's operating like it should. Like it was awful against Florida State, but if they can turn what they've done the past couple of weeks and do that against this leaky Georgia secondary, it's ripe for an upset for Bama here. On the flip side, you said we're going to see 50 throws from Bama, Tyson. I think that's because they're 70th in EPA per rush against a defense that's 10th in EPA per rush. So it just might be, hey, man, you're going to be throwing the ball 70 times. We're going to get an ice bag on your shoulder at the end of the game.
This also has the potential to be classic college. This could be classic college football. Like this game could be absolute fireworks, roller coaster, the whole nine. I don't know which version. I think there's two. If Bama wins, it's going to be a shootout. But I think if Georgia wins, they can win a shootout, or they can just stomp a mud hole through these guys.
Yeah, and that's why I'm leaning towards Georgia, to be completely honest with you. I mean, one, they're at home. Two, is Alabama able to tackle still? Like all of a sudden, like those defensive worries that we saw against Florida State, like we're just throwing those out of the window because they beat like Louisiana Monroe. Like that's where I'm like, I don't know if we still fix the root issue of what we've seen under the DeBoer era at Alabama, where the defense stinks and they don't want to tackle and they're not going to be able. They haven't been able to stop the run. And Georgia, everything comes off of the running game, and then you have Gunnar Stockton doing stuff. Now, is it going to be a mobile read option type of look for Georgia on the offensive side? I don't know, but that's where Alabama struggles. So I think if you get Stockton's legs involved a little bit more, then yeah, I think you're going to have more success on offense. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I don't know if that's how they want to operate on that side.
Yeah, this is kind of fascinating. It also feels like a back against the wall spot for DeBoer, because if you lose this one, this is just kind of who you are.
Number 4, LSU going to face number 13 Ole Miss. This is interesting because all of a sudden, Ole Miss, I think Austin Simmons got Wally pipped, my guy. I mean, this Chambliss kid coming from D2.
Is this the best name in college football as well? Trinidad Chambliss, and just come out and you're throwing, it's 500 yards a game. It's 5 touchdowns.
It's been awesome, dude. Like, it's looked great.
There's a reason that, like, we'll get into the game talk, but, like, LSU is an underdog here for a reason. It's because Ole Miss has looked a lot better than people thought they were going to look right here. He's not getting his job back. I mean, this is what it is, man. Ole Miss's offense might look like this forever now.
Lane Kiffin, we've always said this is one of the best offensive minds. Like he just is always dialing up stuff, and there's guys like wide open, and the offense is always sick. Austin Simmons was missing easy throws. Austin Simmons was not great. Now, he's a young quarterback early on, but there was a ton of hype around him. Like, well, if that's the quarterback play they're going to get, like Ole Miss doesn't really have a shot to make the college football playoff or compete for an SEC title. Trinidad Chambliss, man, this guy's making throws. He's running the rock. I mean, this offense has gone to the next level with this guy in charge. Now you're facing a real defense. I think that's the thing here. Yes, it's looked good against Arkansas, whose defense is disgustingly bad. And yes, it's looked good against, who the other slap little programs that Ole Miss has played. But you're facing this defense from LSU, 26th in EPA per pass, 15th in EPA per rush. And so this is going to be a real challenge here for Ole Miss. And it's one that, maybe they can meet, maybe they can go above and beyond and stamp for their signature win on the season. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect really from Ole Miss because this kid hasn't done it against a real defense.
No, but that would be a very Ole Miss thing to do, to stamp your win of the regular season here in week 5. And then slowly fall off.
Sure.
That is on the table. Whit Weeks is apparently star LSU linebacker is apparently dating Lane Kiffin's daughter. Did you see this?
I did, yes.
Lane says bet the over. And I look, the way that they've been dialing things up, I think that might be okay. This LSU defense, though, like it's 9 points a game, brother. They're flying around. They're athletic. I know Chambliss has been awesome, but LSU's going to the game with a better quarterback. They just are in Garrett Nussmeier, and the offense has yet to get going. Looked a little better last week. Granted, they're playing nobody. But I think, if you're Brian Kelly, you're strolling into the Grove with a better defense and a better quarterback, and that's a pretty good place to be.
Well, I think Lane Kiffin said bet the over because he knows his defense stinks. I mean, if Kyron Lacy's not going to get going, it's this game because Ole Miss 123rd in EPA per rush. I mean, they cannot stop the run. And so if LSU is able to get that rushing game going, that opens things up for Nussmeier. And we're going to see Aaron Anderson take some shots. Yes, it says 18th in EPA per pass, for this Ole Miss defense. I don't buy it. Like I saw that Arkansas team shred them up through the air. And so, again, Taylon Green versus Nussmeier at this point, I'm going to take Nussmeier. And I think this is the time that this LSU offense can get going. Everybody wants everything to happen right now. Like, why isn't LSU scoring a million points? People are making fun of Kelly. They're like, oh, he had a meltdown at the press conference. Like, classic Brian Kelly. I'm like, they have won. They're winning games. They're 4-0. They beat Clemson. You guys crowned as like, they're definitely going to beat LSU. Like, that's what everybody was saying. And then they're mad that the offense isn't happening. And they're like, oh, Kelly's melting down. He's like, just give us some credit that we're winning these football games. And I think this offense is going to come along. Doesn't need to happen in week 1 all the time. Like it can be baked and it doesn't need to be a microwave. It can be an oven and just start cooking and peaking at the right time. And that offense looked much better last week. Now I know it was against Southeast Louisiana or something like that, but sometimes that's what you need, right? And if you're rolling in with momentum, which it looks like they are, I think that bodes well for this one.
And Caden Durham, he's hurt. He's banged up. Garrett Nussmeier is hurt and banged up. So the Nussmeier thing is concerning. I think the Caden Durham thing, if you're LSU, you're kind of like fist pumping a little bit, and it's like Juwan Johnson gets to play more. Like this is the freshman we've been waiting on. Everyone thought Caden Durham was that guy. I think he's going to be an excellent third down running back at LSU for the rest of his career, and probably an excellent third down running back in the NFL. I sat on here when they played Florida, and I said, I quoted Brent Musburger and said LSU when he said the Tigers have found their roar behind this freshman running back, and he's talking about Jeremy Hill. Just never wrong, just early. It's Juwan Johnson this week. LSU runs the ball all over Ole Miss and walks in the Grove and walks out with a win.
Did I say Kyron Lacy, by the way?
You did. Yeah, okay. I was like, I don't think never mind.
That's a throwback. That's a throwback guy here. I was like,
you're throwing them all out, dude. I was locked in though. It sounded good.
Sounded good. I think LSU wins. Now you say LSU's going to run all over, but I'm with you here. I think LSU goes into Ole Miss and they win this football game. I like the defense, I like the quarterback. I think the offense gets rolling. And I think if you can run the football, which I think LSU is going to be able to do here, I think they're going to win the game. So Tyson and I both have LSU, and we both had Georgia, I assume, right? As well. Yeah. Okay. Last one that we're going to preview: Friday Night Lights. TCU, Arizona State, the 24th ranked TCU Horned Frogs facing the Sun Devils. I can't remember if it's Purple Frogs or Horned Frogs. I don't know. Those mascots are running through my head. So we got the big matchup and the big result from Texas A&M Utah to decide, kind of upper echelon Big 12 contender. That's what we got here. Arizona State's lost the game, but they're 3-1. TCU 3-0. So I think this is going to be a big decider. The offense hasn't quite looked as good for Arizona State. They're struggling to pass the ball with Sam Leavitt and Jordan Tyson, which I think is surprising for a lot of people. But if they're going to get going, it's going to be in this one because TCU's defense is 113th in EPA against the pass. On the flip side, Josh Hoover is sick as quarterback, 17th in EPA per pass. This offense for TCU is incredible. And I think this is going to be a real test for the Sun Devils.
Do they have to win the conference for him to win the Heisman?
I think so.
Putting these numbers up?
I think so.
Sick. Also, Sonny Dykes should have been donkey today from both of us because the Iron Skillet's gone. Like, yeah, you won the last one, and that's cool, dude, but don't take that away from it. It's not even going away because of realignment. They just don't want to play SMU anymore. Well, that's stupid. Like,
it's weird.
That bugs me. To quote Lane Kiffin here in this game, bet the over. I think that we're going to get a lot of points. Like, TCU's offense, as you mentioned, has been clicking, and Arizona State's slowly finding their footing, but got some of that juice back by beating Baylor. I think that was big for this program, and it wasn't always looking like they were going to win that football game, but they were able to get it done and pull it out. I think that this has the potential to be really fun. It's also, I think this is the first time they've played in conference play, so these guys have never seen each other before.
I think you're right on that. Yeah, and this will be a pack.
Remember,
I think you're correct. But, there's a lot of momentum, newfound momentum on this Arizona State program. Like, that's pretty close to me, the stadium. It's going to be packed. I mean, you could give tickets away, 5 years ago? And now, they're like $800 a pop or $600 a pop now. So it's going to be a happening spot down there in Tempe on Friday night. Can TCU go in and pull off the upset? Right? I mean, I don't know the betting line, but I mean, I think Arizona State would be favored at home. I mean, pretty like teams. I have Arizona State winning this one. Their defense is much better than I thought coming into the season. And I think this offense just hasn't clicked on all cylinders yet, but they're going to have an opportunity to do that here. And I think Arizona State's going to make one play. TCU going to make one mistake, and Arizona State comes out on top. And they announce themselves as, we should be taken seriously as back-to-back champs.
Minus 135 TCU to Arizona State, 2.5 on the spread there. So telling you they think it's a field goal football game. I think that sounds pretty good to me. I'm going to take Arizona State because I love Kenny Dillingham and everything they have going on, but I'm not going to be surprised here if we're talking about TCU might, them and Texas Tech, we got a real battle.
Yeah, I think so too. The Texas schools, we'll see what happens there. Those are our 4 big game previews that we are doing here. Like, subscribe, and share the show. We got our gambling picks coming out later for college football and the NFL. We're trying to get rolling on that front. College football is just so finicky, man. Like, you just never know. Like, you're in there for a long time, all of a sudden something happens, and then boom, you're on the bad beats and you're on Scott Van Pelt's show. Like, that's pretty much what's been happening. But we'll try to give out some winners. Let us know who you think is going to win these big games in the comments on YouTube. Smash the like button on the way out. Subscribe so you don't miss a single thing we do. Share it with a friend, with an enemy, your coworker's mom, your coworker's dad, your own dad, however you guys want to do it. Appreciate the support you guys give us. We'll talk to you when we talk to you. Until then, peace.